April is underway, and we are losing the like battle against our Browns channel here at Chat Sports. But we're not down by a lot. I think we can punch above our weight class and lead the AFC North in likes this month. First step is catching up to the Browns. So like today's video if you haven't already. We're talking draft here with the NFL draft rapidly approaching. We are just outside of 3 weeks away now. Dehner posted his Bengals 1.0 big board. Certainly worth a read, by the way, on The Athletic. What stood out most to me, though, was how high Texas defensive tackle Byron Murphy was. Taking the quarterbacks off the board, and specifically for the Bengals, here's how the top of this list worked out. Malik Nabers was number 1. Marvin Harrison was 2. Odunze 3. Those guys aren't going to be there. It's a receiver. It's still awesome. Taliese Fuaga is out of Oregon State. Stands out as a great pick. I don't think he gets there. Fautanu out of Washington is a left tackle. Could play left guard, maybe right tackle. Touch surprised he was 5 on that list. I think there's a pretty good chance that those 5 players are gone. Fuaga could go in the top 12, top 10, even to a team like the Jets. Fautanu could go to the team like the Seahawks, who have his OC and his O-line coach now at the same positions in Seattle. So if those 5 guys are gone, the next player becomes Byron Murphy. Of note, by the way, over Joe Alt, who's going to be a top 10 pick, over Fautanu, who, the reason being there from Dehner was those guys are left tackles. And I understand that you have a left tackle, you might not want to flip sides, so I get the rationale behind that one. But it's over guys like Amarius Mims, over guys like J.C. Latham, who could be really good right tackle options for this team, short-term and long-term, and address that significant need. But as many others have pointed out, if in general you want that superstar 3-technique pass rusher defensive tackle, you kind of got to take that guy early because they don't have a great track record of developing on day 3, etc. So more on this whole conversation to come. But do you want to draft Byron Murphy in round 1? This will be today's pinned comment. You should know the drill by now. It means an ad's probably going to play here on YouTube. That's fine if it does. Head down there and let me know. Y for yes, N for no. Look, I would not be mad at it. I might have someone higher on my board, but you're getting an impact player at a what I would argue is a premium position in the current, meta, whatever you want to call it, of the NFL. I actually have Johnny Newton higher than Byron Murphy. I think I might be unique on that one, but I get it. Murphy's not going to be that far behind. Like when you get to the Bengals pick, Murphy will probably be among that, like when we're live on the Chat Sports YouTube channel. Best available. He'll be on the first slide or one of the first guys on the second slide of 4 or 5. He'll be right in that conversation. He was awesome last year for Texas. He did everything you wanted him to do against the run and against the pass. He is not necessarily the biggest player, and that's kind of my main issue, like in terms of like the needs. I would be all for Byron Murphy if they hadn't paid Sheldon Rankins this offseason. You have Rankins, you have B.J. Hill. I think those guys are 3 techniques. Pass rushing focused defensive tackles. Not that they can't play the run, but if you're trying to replace DJ Reader, you don't have that guy. So you'd have to double dip at defensive tackle. I could live with that. I could. Although the Tavondre Sweat incident, that might cause some issues there. I would not be shocked if the Bengals said, I don't think Alt's going to be there. Maybe Fautanu is instead. And they just take the best available right tackle on the board. And they say whether he starts year 1 or we make him the backup and let him grow and develop, or we make Trent Brown the swing guy, they kind of get lucky in a class that normally, you can't normally find the potential high-end franchise caliber tackle pick 18. Normally those guys go earlier, or you're gambling on more developmental pieces. Bengals can get that this year. It's not something I think that should be overlooked. Today's Bengals Breakdown is made possible by Prize Picks. Kind of in a lull period, right? There's no more March Madness, but the NBA playoffs are just around the corner. Get in on the playoff action with 200x of your money on Prize Picks as the world's best players take the game to a new level during basketball's postseason. Now, when you're doing Prize Picks, I would always advise the flex play. That way, if you get one of those picks wrong, you still come out on top. You're just picking more, picking less. It really is that easy. I would argue, by the way, it is not a lull in the sports calendar. It is a tradition unlike any other, the Masters coming up this weekend. This is a golf shirt if you can't tell, by the way. Go figure. Here are my prize picks for the Thursday round at Augusta. I've got Scotty Scheffler, more than 4 birdies. I think he's going to have a fantastic week down there. Jordan Spieth, I've got more than 3.5 birdies and to have more birdies than Bryson DeChambeau. So I'm a little aggressive on Jordan Spieth, but it's not just the score. Jordan Spieth's a wild card. You know, it's Charlie Day and Always Sunny. He's kind of the back of the door yelling wild card. He's going to have like 5 birdies, probably a double, maybe an eagle, some more bogeys in there. He'll get to the birdies. This might not be a great round overall. I also like Patrick Cantlay, more than birdies against his buddy Xander Schauffele. So go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. That link's in the comment section and the description of today's show. A free agency idea from Bleacher Report saying DJ Chark is the best available free agent option out there for the Bengals. Here was the argument/pitch. The Bengals have a pretty good roster where there isn't much room for an outsider to come in and start right away. So adding Clark would be a move to see if he can potentially replace Tee Higgins next season. The 2019 Pro Bowler isn't the same player he used to be, but he is coming off of back-to-back 500-yard campaigns. Not sure that's so much of a selling point in terms of, 500 yards, but would you sign DJ Chark to be kind of your backup, maybe future vertical threat on the outside? S for sign or P for pass? I'd probably pass, frankly. DJ Chark is not, he's had moments of being this big play machine, but he's never been consistent, and he's often been hurt. Things that should raise red flags for you, by the way. The Bengals are in the market for wide receiver help. Make no mistake about that. Jamar Chase is not going to go anywhere. Tee Higgins maybe has one more year left. Charlie Jones, I think they're a bit disappointed by. Andre Yoshivas, they brought back to Irwin. I think it's pretty clear what the path is. It's a really good wide receiver class. Take an inside-outside piece on day 2. That could be Ladd McConkey if you're lucky and he falls to you. That could be Ricky Pearsall if McConkey's gone. I think maybe Jermaine Burton in the 3rd round if you trust the off-field stuff. All of those things, like, boom, you have a young, affordable piece at wide receiver that I think could produce at a similar level to what you'd expect to get out of DJ Chark, quite frankly. We are approaching the 8,000 subscriber mark. I want to get there before, or at least by the end, I should say, of this year's NFL draft. So if you haven't already, hit that sub button, youtube.com/BengalsTV. Now, sticking here with the draft conversation, ESPN's Bill Barnwell arguing the Bengals should actually trade down in the 1st round. I have issues with this idea. Look, the Bengals have plenty of draft picks. They have an extra 3rd. They are not a draft-needy team from a pick perspective. They are also not a trade-happy organization either. They don't make a ton of moves from that perspective. Now, the pitch was like, trade down, get some more picks for a receiver. Here's what Bill Barnwell argued here. With Higgins on a 1-year deal, Cincinnati might want to take advantage of a deep wide receiver class to move down and add a wide receiver as a 3rd receiver in 2024 before taking over as a replacement for Higgins in 2025. Adding an extra pick would also make it easier to address the interior of the offensive line, which is the sort of position the Bengals typically would want to hit on day 2 as opposed to the top 32 picks. I don't want to trade away from a good player. What do you think? Do you want to trade down? 1 for yes, you do. 0 for no, you do not. Go ahead and sound off in the comments. I would argue this. I can do all of those things with my current picks. I can take my interior offensive lineman on day 2 or early day 3. I can take my wide receiver in a deep draft class on day 2. I can add a cornerback. I can add a defensive tackle. I can add an offensive lineman. I can do all of those things with my pretty good draft allotment. Now, if the board falls right, I want to stay. I don't want to trade away from a premier offensive lineman or one of those impact defensive tackles. Trading down a handful of spots to get that extra day 2 pick and then getting a worse player, I don't know if that's in the market or it makes the most sense for the Bengals. Now, if they chose to, Here's about what you could probably get and how far you'd have to trade down. Maybe the Cowboys side, they want that offensive lineman. Maybe Fautanu's there. They trade up. It would cost the Cowboys about a third-round pick to the Bengals to move down. So you're trading away from, I don't think you're going to get Byron Murphy at 24. Maybe Amarius Mims is there at 24 if you're lucky to get an extra top 90 pick. You want an extra second-rounder? You got to move all the way down to pick number 29. And, maybe you're taking Lad McConkey there or Xavier Worthy or something. You're picking up number 61. I get the benefits of having extra shots at the draft. That's very valuable. I think for a team that wants to win games now, I don't need extra developmental picks. Give me an impact player in round 1 this year.